Well, it seems like the NFL is another league that has problems with the referees, eh, boys?
Big call. End of the game.
Seems to be the case for most organized sports.
Oh my God!
Meaning there shouldn't be any refs, I guess.
No, this is
everything lawless.
This
just play,
is,
guys.
This is a moment where I wish Joey and Anthony were here, just to hear their reactions. But Super Bowl weekend, Kansas City versus Philly. A big controversial holding call on one of the final plays of the game, and that led to Kansas City grabbing a lead. The rest is history. Pat Mahomes, what is it? He's a Super Bowl MVP. It's the second
in 4 years.
Next GOAT?
Second time in 4 years.
Three appearances in 4 years. Is he the next GOAT? Anthony, is Patrick Mahomes going to beat Tom Brady? I think so.
Time will tell.
Time will tell. It's another episode of The Curfew Boys. Thank you all for tuning in. If you're listening to us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, thank you very much. If you're watching us on YouTube, there's myself, Sammy, Chris, and Zook.
Hey now.
And it was a very fun weekend. Last weekend, highly entertaining. So Super Bowl was obviously the main event. Excellent game. Back and forth. I thought Philly played well. Their quarterback was it Hurts. What's his name? I keep forgetting his name. If that's his name, thought he played a solid game. But at the end of the day, Patrick Mahomes, man, it's tough to bet against him. And I'm speaking. This is as far as I know about talking about football. This is as far as it goes. Okay, so all that to say is it was a fun weekend. Spent time with the in-laws and the girlfriend. Ate a lot. I don't know if you guys did that, but
how's your gut?
It's still paying the price, to be honest. I might have destroyed a few toilet bowls along the way.
But where's the videos?
There's no videos.
Come on, Sammy. Like last year. Do it.
This ain't 2 girls, 1 cup, Zook. Like, stop it.
Fine. Fine. Next time we feed you Indian food.
Okay. Oh my God, dude. Last time I ate Indian food, holy shit. Like
he was creating sounds that never existed before.
Shit. Fuck you, bloody. And no, anyways. I want to ask you guys this though. If you were to host the ultimate Super Bowl party, like what's the food?
Oh my God.
What's the main food that you're laying out on the table? Or if you were to tell people you need to bring food, this is what I want you to bring. What's the food list when it comes to the ultimate Super Bowl party?
Quite simple. Beer.
Okay, good. All right.
Some could consider that food, right? It's liquid bread. Okay, next.
Sure, unless it's a pint of Guinness. Sure, okay.
Next, multiple or infinite bags of Doritos, the spicy ones.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Wait, there's one more traditional American cuisine.
Okay.
I would say pogos.
You mean cornbread?
Cornbread. Pogos.
Pigs in a blanket.
You can't get more American.
Yeah,
pigs in a blanket.
Cornbread. Yeah, pigs in a blanket. Okay, hold on a sec, because there's pogos on the stick, or it's the small pigs in the blanket.
No, I mean pogos because it's so typical American cuisine. You see it in every American household.
Okay.
The big ones. And then what else? Super exciting. And then what else? Lastly, it's gonna end with chicken wings. There, done.
Yes. Okay. So Zook, you finished off on the right note. So chicken wings, tacos, guacamole, especially with those.
Tacos?
It's too healthy.
Tacos
guacamole is healthy.
Tacos or nachos?
Yeah, did I say tacos? Nachos. What the hell? What the hell?
Okay. I mean, listen, tacos, great.
That was a major Freudian slip right
there. For me, tacos at a Super Bowl, there's just too much preparation to do. And
that's it. You want to
just nachos, you just grab and go.
You want to shovel?
Yeah, no, it's definitely nachos because you have the salsa, but you also have those wonderful avocados from Mexico commercials that come on every year.
Good
job.
Nice.
We owe it to them to be a part of the the Super Bowl fiesta of food.
Marketing works in this case.
But yes, it does. And Zook, you're right. Doritos, for the amount of amazing commercials that they put out over the years. When I think chips, like chips are necessary. I think when you say everybody brings something, like everybody should have the responsibility of bringing
100%.
at least one bag of chips. Chipman Adri, shout out to you. But listen, Doritos really won. I think they earned their spot as part of a Super Bowl celebration. It's a must. So absolutely,
I agree. Nobody. No, yeah. Sorry, not sorry. No, nobody's bringing ribs, baby back ribs.
It's great ribs, but that is a lot of work, though. No,
hold on, a lot of work. You
prepare, dude.
It's messy. You can't sit around
and what are wings?
It on the sofa
and chicken wings is what the cleanest food you could eat.
No, right?
Wings are a lot less bad than.
Dude,
no. I'm saying for me, chicken wings, man, you can buy already like almost pre-made. You just have to put it in the oven. But like ribs, it's a little more delicate.
Yeah, but we're not talking about the length it takes to prep the food. I'm talking about
fine.
Your favorite food. Like what's your favorite food to have?
Yeah, I would have said ribs, but like I went with the next easiest thing.
Stop. I'm not talking about preparation time. No mac and cheese.
Mac and cheese is good too. Yeah, that's definitely there.
Okay. Listen. Since we're of Italian
Kraft. Come on.
Fuck Kraft. Don't ever talk to me about Kraft mac and cheese. Fuck that shit. I don't care if you are drunk after
that's the one
night out. No. For us, being the Italian descendants that we are, a nice tray of lasagna.
Oh my god.
No.
Lasagna. What about the focaccia or just tomato based pizza? You have to have like a solid field worth.
Okay.
There you go. Now we're talking. Now
we're bringing out the
finger food.
New sport.
You know what? And as much as I love the wood oven pizzas that we're good at making, sometimes just a nice greasy corner street pizza shop there that you. I think that too. But okay, who's hungry now?
Oh my god.
I think we're making the audience hungry too.
Pause. It's going.
Well, you know what? If we can then go ahead, shift gears and whatever. There's one thing that you brought up, especially the penalty. We have to talk about the penalty within the last minutes of the game, because this is going to shift us perfectly into the hockey top. Can we not just have an extra appreciation for hockey? Imagine the Stanley Cup was one single game. Like I look at football, and you know what? Football is football. There's a certain period of time during the year that they could play it, but could you imagine the final game being decided by one freaking game and one stupid play like that? Like the refs make I'm not saying it's a good or a bad call. We're not going to get into it, but just the fact that the game was decided on that, and the fact that they can basically do the equivalent of taking a knee, wasting time, like soccer players running out the clock, passing it back to their goaltender. There's none of that shit in hockey. And it's the hardest cup to win. It's the hardest championship to win, hands down. And you know what? That's why we talk about it. That's why we got a podcast.
I tend to agree. It's just the thing about hockey is the refs do put the whistle away, especially when the stakes are high, unless it's
blatant.
Yeah, like if it's too many men, and even sometimes they'll let it slide unless it's pretty obvious that there's 6 guys on the ice. They don't even realize you have to call it. If
high sticking is always called.
Yeah, I guess high sticking is the only stick infraction they'll call.
If it's blatant,
it's got to be blatant, But I mean, 9 times out of 10, like the players are careful when it comes to the playoffs. They're not gonna hook. They'll give out clean hits. They won't be. It's gonna be a lot more physical and rough, or unless there's a delay of game. But I think that's a bit of the beauty when it comes to the NHL playoffs or Stanley Cup playoffs, is that the refs are. I'm not going to say they're perfect, because no ref is perfect. No game officiated has ever been perfect. But I think again, you look at that call during the Super Bowl, like maybe it was just that run ref, but does any other ref make that call, or do they let it slide? It technically was a penalty. Even the player himself said he was holding. He was hoping that it wouldn't have if like he wouldn't have gotten caught. But at that point of the game, do you call it? I mean, I don't know. I'm not a football referee connoisseur. I mean, the only penalties I know are passing interference or holding or roughing or what else is there? Roughing the passer. Offside. I know offside. They do all these fucking signals with half the time I don't know what the fuck they're. But anyways, yeah, it's just look on the overall. I was entertained. I did bet a little bit of money on it, not for winners or stuff. I bet $10 and I won a whopping 37, boys.
That's good.
More than quadrupled my money. So
perfect.
Hey, listen.
You didn't bet on the Gatorade
I'll take a buck.
color.
You get what?
You didn't bet on the Gatorade color, did you?
The Gatorade color? No.
Yeah. When the winning coach usually has the Gatorade dropped on him. People were freaking out because literally they weren't showing him. They just turned the camera to they literally bet. They bet on the coin toss. They bet on the color of the Gatorade when they drop it on the winning coach.
That's the first
They
I've
bet
ever
on
heard of
all
that.
sorts. Yeah, they bet
because it could be manipulated.
But people were freaking out this time in particular. I'm bringing it up when you mentioned sports betting because they just turned back to Kansas City, the whole coaching staff and the head coach in particular, and they're flipping over the Gatorade had already been flipped over, and people were like, "What the?"
It's amazing.
Well, it's funny. I heard on the radio that the Gatorade was purple.
Oh man,
I want some of that purple drink.
Purple punch.
Purple. What is it? That Dave Chappelle skit is the greatest. I want that purple stuff. He's so good. But yeah, boys. How about we kick it into gear with the Canadians? And for some reason, the Super Bowl weekend, they seem to fucking win all the time. Something about these matinee games playing at 12:30. It looks like the Canadians are full of energy. But otherwise, if you include the game versus Chicago on Tuesday night. The Habs are winners of 3 straight. To be quite honest, I didn't think they'd give the Edmonton Oilers a spanking like they did. The Islanders game was, it was to be expected. The Islanders are not the most exciting team to watch. You could argue, they got Bo Horvat, so yeah, they're a lot more of an interesting team, and yes, they are. Borvat, whatever you want to call him, Borat too, if you want to go. Anyways, but I thought that game was it was also the last reverse retro game that they finally won. The curse has been lifted. The curse is over. Call it whatever you want. The funny thing is, the very first reverse retro that the Canadians had, the navy blue one. If you remember, I think it was the last game they played with it. They actually won in shootout. And I think it was Thomas Tatar. It was during the pandemic, but it was Thomas Tatar that did some filthy move. I forgot against who.
It must have been during the season, right? I'm kidding. You get the Tatar joke?
Sure.
Playoffs, he doesn't score.
Well, yeah, duh. There's no shootout.
So that must have been during the season.
No, there's no shootout. There's no shootout in the playoffs either.
That's true.
Yes,
That's true.
Dude. Okay, you know what? Thomas Tatar is going to be making the playoffs for New Jersey, and he's going to be playing. He's going to be playing. This is.
He's not going to be learning. He's not going to be learning in the stands, right?
No, he doesn't have. He doesn't have a Dominic Ducharme
learn
over him. But I want to start with Mike Madison.
Yes,
the guy's he's been stepping up lately, and like that. Him and David Savard were monsters on the 5-on-3 penalty kill in overtime, and then how fucking. It's one of those moments where it's like as soon as the guy comes out of the box and he gets a breakaway just in time. And though Hoffman missed it, then Matheson comes out of nowhere, pops the rebound, boom, game winner.
Yeah.
The Bell Center went nuts. Yeah. The crowd went fucking crazy.
Yeah. And so did Matheson. I love his celly. It's a homeboy, man. He scores his goal. Big important goal.
Yeah.
Must have felt nice. It was definitely great to hear finally the Bell Center like that again. It's been a long time. Like this year, we've heard the Bell Center, man, like it should have been,
Mhm.
Of course, there's some games where we lose and stuff like that, but the fans are still passionate this year. Last year, man, I went to a few games. I was like, this is something that felt totally different.
Okay.
It was just like everybody was like, what's the word? Basically, not
Empty.
yeah, they weren't really there.
Hopeless.
And you felt that in the air at the Bell Center, man. And
Mhm.
this year, like you could even feel the difference. I don't know if it's because I don't know, if they finally realize what's coming, or they're happy about management, or blah blah
Yeah.
blah. But there's definitely been a shift, and you could feel it, like in that game when Matheson scored.
Absolutely.
It's as simple as that, and I'm sure now the players are feeding off of that as well too, which is only helping. So
Yeah, absolutely. You want to say something, Chris?
Yeah, especially when Zook was talking about hearing the Bell Center. There's one little side note. Is it just me or the horn is completely off at the Bell Center?
Yeah,
It sounds like a mix.
it's
Yeah,
different.
it's,
it sounded like
I don't
it was weird.
It sounds like a
I don't
what?
like it. Yeah, I don't like
It was
it.
higher pitch.
Well, yeah, I guess. No,
I hope it's
absolutely.
temporary.
You know, but the game against Edmonton, though, that, like I said, that I did not expect that at all.
Yeah.
Well, Edmonton played the night before.
Well, the Canadians played the day before.
They played against Ottawa? No.
Yeah.
They played against Ottawa 2 days prior, I believe.
Yeah, no, the Canadian.
We had
the
a day off. We had a day off, not Edmonton.
No, but no, dude. The Canadians played Saturday, Sunday. Yes.
Yeah, it was Saturday,
Yeah.
Sunday, and
Edmonton,
then
yeah, you're right.
the
Sorry.
week's going
Yeah.
by quickly. The week's going by
Holy
quickly
shit.
because you're
Yeah,
thinking
so-
Chicago.
Exactly. Sorry. Yeah, it's just,
I thought I had memory
that was back
problems.
to back. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, is it just? Is there something cool knowing that
Thought it was-
McDavid cannot play well against the Canadians?
No, there's some games where he scores 4 goals against us.
No. When was the last time he did that? Okay, maybe
Like 2021, maybe.
Okay, no, that's not true. Well, this year against when the Canadians played in Edmonton, I think he ended up putting up a couple of points. But every time McDavid comes to Montreal, for some reason he can't perform.
At the Bell Center.
Yes. No, at fucking Verdun Colisée.
Because I'll tell you a fun
Easy
fact.
about Verdun. No.
I'll tell you a fun fact. Since you're gonna hate me, Sammy, but
Let's go.
Since McDavid's been playing against the Canadians,
Yeah,
in 8 games he has 29 points.
against the Canadians.
Wait, no, sorry.
Maybe in the league.
Well,
Yeah.
4, 5. No, sorry. In 23 games he has 29 points. So it's almost a point. It's a point.
Per-
0.1 per game. It's insane.
Against the Canadians, or are you talking about just
against the Canadians? Against the Canadians.
Oh, okay.
In 29 games.
29. He has how many points?
Sorry.
He has 23. You said.
In 23 games, he has 8 goals and 21 assists.
Okay. 23. Okay. Whatever.
It's not bad, man. It's 23
No,
games.
it's not bad. It's good, but he still cannot, for some reason, like you could tell he was frustrated too. That game, a couple of times he's cross-checking guys here and there. He was frustrated. So, yeah, no.
And the last game before last, he had 4 points against the Habs, which is December 3rd. So
yeah, that's it. I remember Jack Guy scored a goal on the power play.
Yes,
I remember that one. Yeah, fine. But I'm talking about mostly, but like in general, when he does, dude.
I think it's the Bell Center.
I think so too. Oh, maybe that's it. But
They were booing him so hard.
Yeah, but that's okay.
No, but that he gets on your back.
You should
It's
never
like the monkey on your back,
rid-
man.
You should never ridicule a man for performance issues. It's perfectly normal. Sometimes it happens. Can't get it done.
Fuck, no, yeah. I'm not
I'm
gonna
not
say
speaking
what I
on
wanna
behalf of
say.
us. So
I see
not gonna-
Sammy's brain. I see it circling.
It's ready to go. But I'm gonna get our asses in trouble. But
It's all good.
obviously though that game came with a price though. We lost Arbor Jack Guy.
Injuries. Yep.
He's out indefinitely, and you saw right away when he was skating off. He's like his
Is there
arm-
any? Okay, so it's upper. It's his hand
I'm for sure it's a shoulder.
or shoulder. Fuck.
Yeah. Because when he skated off, he was like his arm looked like a limp. Never mind. But he started pointing at it.
Oh yeah. So
Yeah. So he's like you say,
He's gone a month or so. Minimum.
He's out indefinitely, so it's gonna be a while.
What I find so frustrating about that is this guy has been fighting everybody. Like the amount of at a certain point, don't get me wrong, we're all enjoying watching him fight, especially the result 90% of the time. But holy crap, like how taxing on the body is that?
Oh,
Like
for
it was
sure.
bound to happen at a certain point. It was actually surprising that he made it this far without getting injured.
Mhm.
Well, I mean, he's lucky he's only 21, 22.
Which means
So
he'll also heal faster.
for now, yeah. And how much could the body take of it? Yeah, for sure. I think for now, in his young age, in his
Well,
young career, it's okay. He could endure it. The thing
Yeah.
is, though, it's one of those fights where I don't think it didn't look like he was searching for it. At least I don't
no, that
think.
guy
Searching-
Desharnais, the giant version of Desharnais, just came
I
out
think.
of like
I think. I
he
think
was
he was the one
playing
that
that
challenged.
game. Yeah,
Yeah, I
that's
think
the
he's the
only
one that
reason why he
challenged
was
him.
playing.
Yeah.
It's the only reason why he was freaking playing in that game. Otherwise, he has no business being there.
Yeah,
That's as simple
what,
as that.
6'5", 6'6"? He's a big
Yeah, he was
motherfucker.
a
That guy.
monster.
So it's and I think after this injury, I think Jack-Eye now he's gonna learn. You know, Marty said it himself. He's like, yeah, he's gonna learn when's the right time to fight, when isn't. You know, it's part of the learning process. But
Hopefully.
he's not. But do you really see Arbor Jack-Eye backing down from a fight?
No,
No.
for sure not.
You know what I mean?
Why would you back down if it's like that? But searching it, maybe he might modify his game as he progresses in his career. Hopefully, like maybe next year is not going to be that not goon type player, but he might not go for fights, especially if he has to be on the ice for certain situations. If
Yeah,
he's
like
gonna get injured, he's not
on
gonna
the
he's not gonna be there, and there'll be another
Well,
defenseman that's gonna come up and take his spot.
well, there's that. It's not just getting injured, but like if you know that you're needed out there for a penalty kill or God knows, maybe even a power play like he's been used this year.
Dude, I seriously see him as or is going to be a really good playoff type player. I have a feeling.
Dude,
he's gonna have
100%. Oh my
that,
God.
right?
God.
Like you see the way he plays.
When we make it to the playoffs, like
he's gonna be a big
1,000%.
So
Oh
he
my God.
needs to watch.
He's
his
gonna be
health.
he's gonna be intimidating. He already
Yeah.
is, but he's gonna
Yeah.
be even more intimidating come playoff time. And you're gonna need players like him. You need players like him.
1,000%.
So
Yep.
that
I think
yeah.
you absolutely need players like him. One thing, I don't think he's going to be injury prone, but I'm hoping you're talking about Zook, you're talking about his game and how it develops.
Yeah.
And Sammy, you're mentioning picking his spots. I think he's got to utilize maybe just the natural emotion that runs through a game, let the frustration kind of boil over and build up. And that way, like, I just want to analyze that last fight a little bit. He's fighting a fourth line guy who has no business being there. You let the emotion, the tension build up. And by that time, by let's say the end of the second period, the beginning of the third period, when you still have a little bit of room to get penalized, miss 5 minutes of the game, there can be a fight there. But by that point in time, more important than anything, you have, let's say, maybe not a star player, but you have a more significant player like, let's say, Evander Kane stepping up to the plate to have that fight because he just can't take, like, they can't take it anymore. He's that pissed off. And in a certain sense, the trade-off at least would be more advantageous. So I think, Sammy mentioning that he's got to pick maybe his moments a little better. I'm not hoping that he's going to turn into a guy who's going to say no more often. I just hope he prolongs that and it affects the game, because having people scared of coming into the zone, having people scared of going into the corner would play so much more into the Canadians' advantage for so much longer in a game. Anyway,
for
I
sure.
made my piece.
But if that whole incident, the way it happened was because him and Evander Kane were going at it.
Kane.
So
Absolutely.
And if you look at it, Desharnais did his job. He, in a sense, protected his star player in a sense. Let's not McDavid or Draisaitl, but let's be honest. I think Evander Kane is the third best player, is the number 3 on that team, and Desharnais did his job because I think Jack-Eye was. I don't think Jack-Eye was going to go up to him and fight. I don't think he was going to go there to fight Evander Kane, but he was definitely going to get in his face, and I think that's when Desharnais jumped in and was like, who knows what's on the ice? Let's go, me and you. Let's settle this right now, me and you. And then Then look what happened now. He's out indefinitely. So
Hmm.
I get what you're saying, Chris. You got to be careful with letting it build because sometimes that can lead to stupid mistakes or
But
careless
that's
mistakes. So
but that's exactly what I mean. You take a player who's, a little bit reckless, like Evander Kane, you throw him off his game, you get him pissed off. Maybe he takes a bad penalty, just because I know what you're saying.
okay, like being like
You
an
can't
agitator,
let
you
it
mean?
exactly like agitate them a little bit more and settle the score a little bit later on because you can throw guys like Evander Kane who are important pieces for, let's say, their respective teams. Just let it sink in, let it boil over naturally rather than having to get it out of the way right away.
Yeah, I see
Obviously,
what
it's
you
going to
mean.
happen,
I,
but
I,
I think
I
Jack, I could have an impact being a little bit more patient with his fighting.
I just hate seeing another one of our fucking rookies out
Mm-hmm.
for the remainder of the season. Like the only
Like
one that's left is
fucking
yeah,
yeah.
the only one that's left is Jordan Harris, who's been amazing as of late.
And it's bad not only because we want to see them play, but it's for their fucking development. I I
Yeah,
I hope it
it's
doesn't really slow them down because they were on a really high, trend
yeah, of course they were.
or
Oh my god,
learning curve. Whereas now with their injury, like even
Caden,
not Gooley,
yeah,
exactly, man. I was say Gooley and also what's his name Caulfield, in my opinion too. He
Slavkovsky.
lost a lot of Slavkovsky.
it's
Yeah,
it's just it's fucking like and we're seriously plagued with this with injuries. Like it's unreal with this fucking team. And I'm not gonna be jumping on this topic again, but I think Kent Hughes is really gonna take a look at the medical staff. I know we mentioned this before. I'm gonna say it again, and I think he's gonna make some changes in that department.
yeah.
But Caden Gooley is starting to skate, which is in a sense good news. Is he gonna be back before the end of the season? I hope so. Maybe get a couple of reps in there.
Hmm.
Um,
I hope so.
yeah,
That could definitely
Hey,
help.
Jordan Harris, though, like, wow, this kid's really stepping it up lately.
Yeah,
Gets
but
that
he's been solid all year, dude. Like
he
I have
has been, but
nothing
now
bad to say about him.
no, but it seems like ever since he got that contract extension, it's like, okay, let me show you my offensive game now.
Fucking right. That's true.
Fucking scores what? He scored 3 goals in like 2 games, something like that. 2 games against whatchamacallit, Edmonton.
Edmonton, yeah.
And if you look at recently, the defensemen are really picking up the slack on at least on the score sheet.
They really
And
want to
all,
be traded.
Well,
uh,
I don't know if they're the ones I want to be traded, but I'm going to mention a couple of players later.
okay.
But
It's
well, look, I was at the game Tuesday night against Chicago. It was a weird game in a sense that it's first of all you're there, you're playing against the last place team basically. I expected the boys to come out strong. They didn't. They were still showing that they're a bit of the better team, but they were trying to be too fancy. They couldn't connect their passes. They couldn't get into the offensive zone that much. The first period was not bad. The second period was meh. Like at one point, you're like, listen, if something happens, Chicago's gonna tie it up and maybe even take the lead. But then the third period came around, and the boys, they put into gear, and then they really dominated the third period. But man, I feel so bad for Patrick Kane. I really do. He looks lost out there. He looks like he doesn't know what to do anymore, and it's sad to see because at one point this player was he was one of the best players in the world. And you look at this team, like what they were like a decade. They were they were probably the best team, one of the best teams in hockey, almost a dynasty,
Yep.
winning 3 cups out of like the in what, like 5-6 years. They were awesome, like man, when you think of like Jonathan Toews, Patrick Kane, Marion Hossa, Patrick Sharp, you think Duncan Keith, Brent Seabrook, Corey Crawford in net. Like fuck, there's a reason why they won those cups. And now
Talk
you look
about
at them,
culture, eh?
you look at them now, man. Wow, what a fucking disaster. What a disaster.
Yeah.
Anyways, but
Every team has its wave.
well, it has their like. If anything, they're going back to the way they used to be at the early 2000s. They were just
That's it.
shit bottom of the barrel,
You know
and they
what though?
yep.
Chicago had the opportunity. You're talking about going to the bottom of the barrel. They had the opportunity to make a smooth transition, to really I know it's hard and it's easier said than done, and some people would still want to see Patrick Kane and Jonathan Toews play the rest of their days with the Chicago Blackhawks, especially after the success that they brought them single-handedly, practically, along with the other four key players that really made them consistent and perennial winners, or contenders. But more than anything, they did not, they really mismanaged when the team started to go downhill, when their stars started to get older. They hung on to them until they were worthless. And kind of like us, you think about, and I really want to mention this. We talked about the year that Koivu, Kovalev, Komisarek,
Mhm.
all these guys that would have been first round picks. We could have rebuilt our whole team, kind of like Chicago could have probably even rebuilt better than we could have if they would have traded these guys. Instead, they hung on to them too long. They're going to lose them for next to nothing, or like us, lose them for nothing. And then you have several years where you're going through like the dark ages where you're just losing everything and nothing good is coming their way. So it's a shame what's happening to Chicago, but that's mismanagement 101 in my books.
Yeah, there's that. You trade away your third overall pick of Kirby Doc. And look what he's becoming now for the Montreal Canadiens. You get rid of the Brinket, your 30 goal scorer, 40 goal scorer. They literally, I think uh the whole scandal with Kyle, my God,
Beach.
Kyle Beach. Yeah, I think that definitely didn't help the team at all. And it's no, but I totally agree with what you're saying.
I
It's
mean,
tough.
Patrick Kane. Let's be honest. Patrick Kane still has a freaking huge value on the market, but Jonathan Toews is actually a problem to trade away with his contract. Think about that.
Yeah, but they'll still be able to. I think they're going to retain as much as they can for the teams. One thing I do know is that Tays and Kane pay their dues to the city of Chicago. They did what they
Oh,
had to
big
do
time.
ever since they've been drafted. And not the best part of this, the funniest thing is that I ended up seeing Taves and Kane play their first game at the Bell Center with the Blackhawks way back in like 2007, 2008, I believe is that season. And it's funny how like I might have seen his last game was at the Bell Center as a Chicago Blackhawk.
Oh,
So
it's true. You went.
it's
That's crazy.
so yeah, I had pretty
Interesting fact. Fun
I
fact.
had fucking wicked seats, though I have to say. It was dead middle on
Now, how
the
was Marty?
dude,
You saw
Marty,
both coaches actually, right? Like
dude,
they're right in front of you.
oh my God, Marty, every time a player made
He loses it. Yeah.
like, you know, a careless, well, not a careless play, but like he made a wrong decision when it came to a passing play, man, you would hear no, and you just see
Yeah.
Marty's head like all the way up, and then just like fucking starts sulking. Like there was so many times, and I'm telling my dad, I'm like, pay attention to him, like every, like no. So here's the thing: there's a thing about mistakes, but then there's a thing where it's like you're looking at the wrong play, but you go for it anyways. That's what upsets Marty.
Interesting.
That's what it is. And I've noticed yesterday, like there's on both sides, like Chicago is just right. Look, we all agree they're terrible this year, but I'm looking at obviously, eyesight level is different compared to like practically a helicopter view. You see a lot more of the ice. I get that, but there's a couple of times where I'm like, you would think the guy at the point is open. Okay, he's gonna pass it to him because because it's no. What he does instead, he passes back along the boards to go behind the net, but there's a Chicago defenseman right there instead, or there's a Chicago player. Like I'm shooting a random example here. It's like
Yep.
Part of me yesterday, as we're watching this, I'm there thinking like, thank God this is Chicago.
Yeah, for sure.
Because if this was any other team, if this was one of the top teams in the league, I think the Canadiens would have gotten destroyed yesterday.
We would have been lit up.
I think so too. The third period came along and the Canadiens were like, okay, no, fuck it. Like, we got this now. And they did. And look, I got to give credit to a particular player that we're not very fond of.
Stop.
You know where I'm going.
Don't do it.
I will do it. Dude, Jonathan Drouin deserves some kind of credit.
He's 0 and 18. Like, wow, that's what credit.
What do you mean he's 0 and 18?
He has 0 goals and 18 assists. Wow.
Yes, I know, but 11 of those assists came in his last 12 games.
Okay.
All right, you want to break it down? He's got 5 points in 2 games or 5 assists. I don't want to say points because he doesn't have any goals. And I get what you're saying.
-11. What?
Okay, look. Okay, listen. The fact that we're talking about the game versus Chicago, he played well. Like I have to say he was a playmaking machine yesterday. And that's what he's been his whole career whenever he decides that he wants to play.
But wait, Sammy, do you notice? Yes, you're right about that. But he also had at one point in his arsenal or weaponry, he had a wicked wrist shot. Where has that happened? Dude, where has that gone?
Dude, it's never left. The thing is, he's got to realize that he has it. Dude, you look at Drouin play, there's times where you would think he has a straight line towards the net. If he would just, I understand he's not a Josh Anderson. Josh Anderson, it's head down, and I'm just going to fucking bulldoze to the net. I understand that because there's times where, like, if Drouin really skate towards the net, he could get there, probably have a good shot. Every time Drouin has the puck, if you look at him play, what is he doing? He's controlling it, and he's looking everywhere to see who he could pass it to first.
So this is my take, Sammy. So I think the way the game has evolved left him in the dust with his natural style of game. Okay, so now he has to resort to body movements, faking here and there, nice little quick passes, right, to get the puck into the offensive zone. He's not the type of player. He can't, with his size, or maybe his injury caused this, but like he can't get skate into those zones where he could get in a clear shot to use his wrist shot anymore. He's not. I haven't seen. It must be years, like two years at least, that I've noticed that with his game.
It's 3 seasons he hasn't have above 10 goals, and he's got the capability of doing so.
And that's when the game. So I think the way that the game is, it's favoring that Josh Anderson style size and weight playing, which, if we get a decent draft pick this year, Fantilli would be the perfect, in my opinion, forecast of how the game is going. He's going to thrive in the long run. Same with fucking Slavkovsky, man. I'm telling you, he may
look at Kirby Doc. Look what he's doing with
Kirby Doc. There you go, exactly. And the game is changing.
Okay, but what does that mean for a guy like Cole Caulfield now?
Caulfield, he's going to have the benefit of having Nick Suzuki on his line, so that IQ will bring Caulfield into the right areas with his shot. He has a shot. If he loses his shot, he's fucked.
Okay,
he's not going to be like Joyce any worse.
Zook, what you said about Drouin in particular, I love. I really want to go back because, especially the fact that those two played together. You have McKinnon and you had Drouin. Some people were saying that Drouin might have even been qualified, would have been better to go ahead of McKinnon. Now the difference is when these guys were playing in the juniors, Jonathan Drouin could have his head down and he could do whatever the hell he wanted without consequence. I truly believe in my heart, Jonathan Drouin got absolutely killed too many times. He got too many injuries. You talk about him looking around. I don't think he's looking around only to find other players. I think he's looking around scared that he's going to get absolutely battered. When you talk about Cole Caulfield, when you're talking about Cole Caulfield and whatever, I find he's just it was a part of his game for so long. This kid was always small. He had to literally develop a sixth sense of, okay, I'm in a risky position. I might get absolutely destroyed. But Chris, I have to be aware.
You nailed it. He's in position.
Drouin never had to deal with that until he got to the NHL. So I think that was the biggest thing. That was the biggest difference. Drouin never had to really protect himself. And now that he's gotten, I'm sorry to say, he's gotten some really bad hits that really hurt him badly.
The hit that he got by Ovechkin, he hasn't been the same ever
not only
since.
That, though.
But how is it? There's that too.
He got a huge wrist injury, dude.
How is it that? Oh, Chicago just scored. Sorry, I have the Toronto versus Chicago games. Let's go Blackhawks.
Was it 3-1?
3-2 now. So no, but how is it that Drouin in Tampa Bay, he was able to score 20 goals?
But that's
he didn't get the shit knocked out of him. The first time he got the shit knocked out of him, it was in the playoffs against the Islanders. We've had this discussion before.
There you go.
He had that, and I swear to God, since then, he's never been the same player. He
So
truly and never has.
Do you think he's probably had a serious injury that they never disclosed, like a concussion?
I think he's scared. I don't think it's a concussion. I don't think it's injuries necessarily.
I think concussions ruin players a lot more than we
100%.
think.
Did you see? I spoke about that.
You did. Yes. What's
his name? Fuck.
Yeah, I know.
Guy from Quebec. Not the Alnef. Anyways. All that too.
Fuck him too.
No, but this guy, what was his name? He was pretty good, man. Anyways.
Yeah, it's oh my god, I'm
the
drawing
young
a memory
kid, man.
blank.
He was in his early 20s and it ruined him. And he still has he still feels the effects of that concussion, man. It's
Mikael Bournival.
Yeah, that's it.
Bournival, right. So he still fucking wakes up with like with headaches and things. Yeah. And that guy he lied, speaking about firing your medical staff, he lied to the medical staff saying he was fine to play because he didn't want to lose his spot. No, so exactly. He was fucking playing full on practice with like he couldn't even see at some points.
Yeah,
he's like.
But listen, I truly believe a lot of these players. If you ask, like, what happened to them? Oh, they might be injured. Yeah, dude, I'm telling you, I think concussions slow down players a lot more than we think.
Fucking Crosby though, why didn't it stop Crosby? That guy is one concussion away from fucking being a child for his life. Sid the kid for life.
Okay, but like because you're comparing a generational talented player to, but also hold on a sec. Didn't Crosby take a full year off of hockey? Yeah. He took a full year. Dude, he missed at least. So if you were to compare him to when he started with Ovechkin has easily over 200 games.
Oh, fuck.
So,
but that's why I'm jumping on it and I'm saying I don't believe it comes down to simple injury. The difference is you look at a guy like Crosby who has had some brutal injuries. He took that year off. He had multiple stretches. The difference is when that guy came back fucking tough as nails up here, I definitely think injury plays into it. You cannot play the same way. You have to be a little bit more aware. Yep. But I think deep down, there is a certain fear. Jonathan Drouin is going on a rush. He's got his head on a swivel. He's slowing down without even knowing it because he's scared and he might not even know it himself. And it's not a criticism. Like getting hit by a 220-pound man at 30 kilometers is fucking brutal and it changes you.
I tend to agree with that. Actually, I think it does. You'll never hear a player admit I'm scared to go in the corners, but you could see it in his game, and I tend to believe that.
Did you notice how many times he got close to the net? Where do you think he makes his plays? Like he stops at that area. He stops like.
Yeah, it could
10 feet from the blue line is the deepest he gets.
And you know what? It's
true though.
What you guys are saying is that maybe it's time that we all realize that. That this is who Jonathan Drouin is, not because for lack of talent or lack of skill or heart, if you will, but simply because he has to just readjust his game, and in doing so, it messes with his train of thought on how and where to go on the ice and not to be afraid. I think we're all onto something here.
And I do want to go the extra mile to say it's not a knock on the guy. Like he has a life to live. He's got another
he's a father too
ahead of him. Protect yourself, and if there is a little fear, again, it's normal. It's okay. Some people are, I want to say, we say tougher, but maybe a little bit crazier. Yeah. Maybe some people are willing to sacrifice a little bit more, and I have no objection to Jonathan Drouin, unfortunately not being able to perform as well as he can because he's looking out for himself in the long run. So just to specify, I don't want to shit on him.
It's and I totally agree with that. We have to accept who he is for the rest of his contract, or I don't know, since he's been kind of putting up points lately, somebody like Armia has been putting up points lately.
Trade.
Do they? Well, that's it. Do they up their trade stock? Like,
There you go.
is like we're always talking about. I think Josh Anderson, his stock either has remained the same or gone higher.
Yeah, but we know what Kent Hughes, how he thinks
No,
about
we know
Anderson.
that, but do you think now with like Armia performing, Drouin performing,
trade Armia,
the
trade
Vorak,
Armia, man.
the Vorak too, Hoffman's been putting up points, Dandanov's been putting up points.
Those are all gone, dude. They're all gone within the next year.
Well, they're gonna be
We need
gone.
a Zook. We need a Zook trade button. Trade Armia.
Gone.
Trade.
We need like how Craig Button has his own trade session. We need a Zook.
Okay, but
What a
in
trade.
all honesty, Armia's
Trade him.
contract is very easy to trade.
Yeah, but there's still another 2-3 years left on
Yeah,
it.
but it's
like
not
over
much.
3 million. Bah,
3 mil, yeah, it's not like fucking.
We got the Vorak still
Gallagher
another
or
3 million at
Vorak.
fair.
Yeah,
So I don't know. Do you think Mike Hoffman's stock has gone up? Do you think?
I think so too. He's had a great second half of the season. I
Ish.
find. Yeah,
You.
he's
you
always
were at-
there. Yeah.
You were at the game yesterday, Sammy.
Yeah.
Please. Did Hoffman not have a huge jump in his step? Because obviously you get to see
Yeah.
maybe while he's off camera, while the camera's not centered on him. But I found that he was flying yesterday. Like, I think this guy has maybe little whispers hearing you might be traded.
Look,
And
I mean, the
swear to
guy-
God, the guy is just taking off.
The guy could skate well, but sometimes his positioning, I'm like,
Yeah.
his decision making. I'm always like, what do you?
Yeah, and he's a good
Here-
shot.
Yeah, he's got a fantastic shot.
Great.
Oh fuck! On the power play, he hurt. I forgot who on Chicago blocked his shot right off the arm, and you think like, oh my, that arm is broken.
Man, fuck.
But
For us, it would be.
here's what I'm thinking, and I've mentioned this before. So like I wouldn't be surprised if like guys like Drouin, Hoffman, Dvorak, Armia, we're gonna mention those four if they stay with the Habs. But I won't be shocked if Kent Hughes somehow fucking pulls a rabbit out of the hat and trades them. The only way I see Hoffman going, Drouin going, and Dadonov. I don't think Dvorak is gone because of his contract. I don't think Armia's gone because he's still a great fourth liner in my opinion, third, fourth liner. That big body, he still brings something to the team, I believe. The only way I see them going, Chris, I don't know what the fuck you're laughing for, you idiot. But anyways,
I have my fucking answer to your question already lined up. But continue.
no,
And then I'll give you mine.
I really think is come maybe less than a week before the trade deadline. If there's a team that has a player that is injured and will be out until the playoffs start, and somebody that can bring something to their power play, that's the only way I see those guys being moved. Otherwise, I don't think there's a demand for them. I think it's up to Kent Hughes to make phone calls and be like, hey, look, lately so-and-so's been putting up points. Lately, so-and-so, look, if ever you need something, you're not going to get, if you get anything above a third round pick, I'll be fucking shocked. Like I'll be happy, actually. Not shocked, I'll be happy. But I don't think these guys I don't think they're going anywhere, to be honest with you.
You want to hear it?
Sure.
Okay, so I agree. I agree with what you said, but I'll go a step further. The only way that this becomes a realistic possibility that these guys get traded is Kent Hughes hosts a GM convention here in Montreal, gets every one of them smashed and brings them to Shea Parade and trades them while they're in another mental state,
Nice.
because otherwise those
Compromise
guys are not
them.
going anywhere.
Yeah, so you got a stripper all up in his face, and he's there. So we have a deal. Oh yeah, man, we got a deal.
Damn it.
Well, Gary Bettman's got to be there to approve of whoever's approving the trades. Like,
Oh
okay,
my
trade
god,
made.
Man, oh,
those
man.
strippers are gonna put them in their G-string pocket or something. I don't know, but anyways, all that to say is, but I'm not editing that.
Never.
No, I don't know. I think Monahan and Edmondson are good to go. I just don't think they're putting them in the lineup just yet.
Okay.
That's my
Interesting.
feeling. But now the latest is Sean Monahan is following the team on the road trip. They're heading to Carolina on Thursday, then Toronto, I believe, on Saturday. Monahan is joining the team. Doesn't mean he's going to play, but he's with them.
He's gonna learn. Understand.
That's some
learn.
mental games. Kent Hughes mental games right there to kind of hint at teams like, hey, our boy's ready to go. You ready
Exactly.
to give some offers?
Exactly.
The one guy too, I think Edmondson is. I'll be honest with you. At this point in time, I think Edmondson is gone.
I think so too.
Especially more talks with the LA Kings. The one that's really, I think, the potential trade of the day for the Montreal Canadiens. And again, I'm going to restate the fact that I hope it doesn't happen. Josh Anderson, the way he's been playing
Oh,
lately,
please.
his value is
Stay.
never going to be higher than this. It's
You
a
trade him?
freaking heartbreaking decision,
Okay, so you're
but
saying yes to the trade.
his value will never be higher than this. This guy's going to get a top end prospect and a first round pick if we trade him at this point in time,
I
especially over the past few
do,
games.
do you think I agree with you. That's what his worth is right now. Do you think that's what other GMs are going to offer?
Nope.
I think certain GMs might offer. Look, it's a very competitive market going into the deadline, and I want to ask you guys, non emotionally, the way Josh Anderson plays, is it sustainable? Is it sustainable or reasonable to think that he's going to have a long and healthy career, or is he going to be
No.
injured towards the back end? Like, it's a long contract. It's a freaking long contract.
I think he's also a lot more. I think he's aware of that, and I think he's going to be careful in some sense without jeopardizing his health.
Okay.
I'm getting that feeling.
Hope so.
Because
I hope so.
Because ever since that surgery, he hasn't been injured much. I'm not saying he hasn't been injured at all, but I was expecting him to be a lot more injured than what we've seen.
Okay.
So, and his contract comes to an end when he's, what, 31, 32?
Or? No, wasn't it? Because he's 29 now. Is it not like 34 that he...
So, stand by. I'm going to go to the popular cap-friendly website.
While you do that, I'm just, again, gonna restate, like, I really hope he doesn't get traded, but if I'm just looking at it as a non-emotional, I love the freaking player. Like, if I were to buy a jersey, he could very well be one of the, well, maybe after a few players, but he's an awesome player. I love him wearing the A right now. I think he deserves it. I think he would be one of the key veterans to help with the young players, but holy crap, man.
His contract ends in 2027. He's going to be 32 by that time.
Okay, 32. But at a non-emotional standpoint, again, his value is never going to be high at that age.
I see what you're saying, and I agree with you, but I think Kent Hughes is asking for the fucking King's ransom on this one. And I don't know if
he gets it.
But dude, if this was Josh Anderson's last year on his contract, yeah, absolutely. The fact that he's got another 4 years at 4.5, that's the problem. That's the only reason why GMs are not going to probably give all of that for him.
But you said it, and I'm going to restate it without smacking my hands. If they offer King's ransom, you take it. You take it and you run, and you absorb the loss.
He said it, unless the offer is too good to refuse. Of course, Kent Hughes is going to do it. Absolutely.
I don't know, man, because I'll tell you why he could attract all that stuff. There's not many players like him. He's a rare breed in a sense, right? So Kent Hughes is allowed to ask for a first round for this year.
Of course,
you know what I mean?
But
that's what I'm saying. He's minimum first round for this year. The problem is teams know that this draft is fucking is deep. So why would they get rid of an opportunity for
this guy can help them
a young player to come in to be
help them win the cup?
Yeah,
you can help them win the cup.
But it's a fine balance, right? Managers or management doesn't want to make that same mistake like Chicago did, where they
Yeah, but Chicago won their cup, so it's okay. They won their cups. Because imagine if Chicago, with all the players they had, they didn't win a single fucking thing.
It's tough because I'll tell you why. Chicago didn't have what the salary cap situation is now with inflation and all this shit. They were in a time where teams were less worried about spending contracts. Now
because they were properly managed.
Zook, well, that too. But
go look at every single cent. I'm going to repeat.
No, right. But there's a lot more going against teams now than in 2010.
Well, no, it's because some of these GMs are offering contracts like you're offering fucking free candy at Halloween. If you look, like, even when Washington won, Ovechkin was not making over $10 million.
That's insane.
He wasn't. Crosby wasn't making over $10 million. Not even was Malkin. Malkin was making more than Crosby. Taves and Kane, Seabrook and Keith were not making over $10 million. I'm telling you. I understand, even with the salary cap going up, fine. Eventually, in a couple of years, there's going to be a lot more leeway. But why do you think Toronto can't fucking win a first-round play? because they have 4 guys getting over, except for Nylander, 3 guys before.
Or they have shit fans. What?
Yeah, exactly. Cool. Fuck them. But my point is that they don't have enough money to get themselves a big defense,
Right.
a big name defenseman. They don't have enough money to get themselves a fucking great goalie. They don't. That's why they keep fucking losing.
Right.
You know, even when the Kings won, them too, nobody was above $10 million. I don't think Kopitar was. I don't think Dustin Brown was. When Jeff Carter, Mike Richards was there, Drew Doughty, I don't think so. I don't think Jonathan Quick was getting over $10 million either.
That's it. You got to balance it out, man. You can't.
You do got to balance it out. And again, this comes down to, like, I'm going to add in the topic of Cole Caulfield's contract, but this is why, like, you can't pay this kid over $8 million, $9 million.
No,
it's going to hurt somewhere. It's going to hurt somebody somewhere down the line. It's gonna, you might lose a guy like Caden Gooley afterwards because of that. You might lose if Slavkovsky becomes the player we all hope.
Yeah.
Like, oh my God, if he's gone because of that.
Yeah.
So all that to say is, like, Chris, totally agree what you're saying. Everything you're saying is absolutely correct, and Kent Hughes knows that. And I think part of me, I think that's why he says, "Oh no, I'm not going to trade him unless the offer is good to refuse." I think it's just him fucking.
But he's also he's playing poker, dude. Like,
yeah, absolutely.
And he's a fucking lawyer, so like he's not a chump.
And dude,
fucking NHLer that failed, and
listen, but
he
let's
knows how to manage. He's educated.
But let's say they do. Let's say they do keep Josh Anderson. Is it really a bad thing?
No, it's not, because he's still young and he could piece in to what our
he's in his prime now.
Coming.
Right now,
but he slots
prime.
in though, Sammy, with what's coming. With he fits in.
But I also think he fits
he's a leadership
in
guy.
I think he fits in the culture they're trying to build.
Exactly.
I will go as far as saying that's your Brendan Gallagher leadership replacement.
Right there, you go. Yeah, 100%.
I think so. Yeah, if there's anybody to replace that role, both as leadership, as effort on the ice.
Yeah.
I think you could put Josh Anderson's name in there.
Yeah.
And I know everybody's freaking out over Raphael Harvey-Pinard, but I admire the kid's effort and the work ethic he's been putting in as of late. I don't think he's going to replace Brendan Gallagher
I want to ask you something though. I'm glad that you brought up his name. I thought we were going to bring it up before, but we didn't. But what's your take on, is he staying Montreal Canadian within the long term?
For the rest of the season, yeah. And I really
no. Not only this season.
Hold on.
Yeah.
I'm going to say, because he's also playing for a contract, huh?
Okay. Yeah, right. Because he's not signed yet.
And this year. He's still a restricted free agent with the option of arbitration.
Okay.
If I believe. I think he's gonna fight for a third line or even a fourth line spot.
He's gonna
right now. He's on the top line with Suzuki and Anderson just because of their injuries. Because otherwise, he would never be there. But he also deserves that opportunity. He really does. Like, you got to give the kid credit. I think he could, though. I think all those years in Laval.
That's what I want to say. Yeah,
was perfect for the kid. Another player who, going to Laval at the beginning of the season, was probably the best thing for his development. Justin Barron.
Justino, absolutely. Man, his confidence, eh? You could like see it. You could see it with his skating. And he's just solid in the back end. I don't know, man. It's as if I was looking at Petrie, like almost. Like, remember those days where Petrie he was at that back end and he shot, and it's somewhat how went through and scores. That's fucking Barron. Maybe he's better defensively too than Petrie. He's very similar actually, but yeah.
I think Justin Barron still has a bit of work on his defensive game.
His skating though is
he's a very good skater. The kid could shoot. He's got a good wrister.
He's a great.
Look. At one point in the minors, he was I think it was the defenseman with the most goals on the power play.
There you go. So
and then he was selected to go to the All-Star game too, the American League All-Star game, but he was up with the Canadians, so they sent Alex Belzil instead. I'm the first guy to admit, I thought this season, I'm like, I don't know about Justin Barron. He's proven
he's going to make it next year. He's going to make it next year.
Yeah, if he keeps up the work ethic and he puts the effort there. Yeah, I think so.
I feel it.
He's he's been playing well, man. He's
Yeah,
I
and he
yeah,
has the
I'll-
size. He has the size.
yeah, but
dude.
he's not going to use his size to
No,
play the game. That's not his game.
but he has it, and that helps.
He could if he wants, but I mean that he's got more of the offensive
Yeah, but even if he
capability.
doesn't use his size, the fact that the size is there when he's on the ice, it still
Mhm.
affects the players who are coming in the zone, right? Or when the puck is cycling, it's always best to have a
Dude,
big
he
guy
could
back.
he
back
could have had
there.
he could have had a second goal against Chicago. Like
Oh
there was one
yeah,
point they fed him a beautiful pass. He was in the slot, and it's one of those things where
he
like
could have been at 4 goals already, 5 goals.
you look up, you want to shoot, you have your target, and then the puck just fucking slides off your stick
Yeah.
blade, and then you fan on the shot. Otherwise, he might have had a second goal
Oh yeah,
against Chicago. Like the
Mhm.
the kids could score. He for a defenseman, he could score. It's just
Yeah.
you just got to keep putting in the work, and I think that's another guy too. Like you gotta consider him in the lineup on the right side. We're not, and then look,
Yep.
man, Logan Mailloux fucking just keeps fucking scoring goals like it's
superstar,
nothing.
baby.
I'm just saying.
I said it, superstar.
I'm just saying. Do not be surprised if he makes the lineup next year.
I'm not surprised.
Yeah.
I knew when they drafted him, he was going to make it.
Even guys like Le Cavalier and Bouillon think he might make the team next year. He has a good chance. Don't be surprised.
Chance.
There's
You see the Michigan.
No, we're aiming at a specific listener. I hope you're listening to this one day and try to expose us one more time, you fucking bully. Anyways, we won't get into further details about that, but that's okay. Guys, I want to end it off with one more thing. It's practically a year now that Marty St. Louis has been the head coach of the Montreal Canadiens, or we just surpassed a year. This might be probably the best decision that this team's made.
Hands down, dude. Well,
Oof, I have a hard time.
let
I
me
think Kent
categorize.
Hughes
Okay.
and Jeff Gorton are number
Exactly.
one,
exactly.
but then Marty is a key piece to their continued success.
Yeah,
It trickles
so,
down.
So Marty is the beginning of what us, the public, the fans, our first viewings of that culture change that Kent and Jeff trying to build.
Mm-hmm.
Like that development first, winning attitude, fucking work ethic, not fucking don't step on the Habs logo, don't fucking high five your friend because you win a game or something like that. None of that bullshit. It's serious fucking business, all the way from the fucking training staff, the fucking you're bringing Poulain, real winners, like people that know what the fuck leadership is, and surrounding the kids with that. That's what we're seeing, and Marty St. Louis is one of the biggest parts of that. You just see him, man. Even like little fucking comments, like little jokes he says in press conferences. You could see the mind behind it, the psychology behind it. He thinks behind everything he says. He stops, he listens. He doesn't fucking talk over the guy. He stops, listens, and then he replies with this like philosophical gold. Like it's incredible. And the players hear that. I'm sure the players hear that, and it builds them. And
so does Elvis Gratton.
Absolutely, though. Like that goes a long way, man. Look, it's like having a good teacher in high school. You like they stay on you. They stay in your mind for the rest of your life. You know what I'm saying? and it's for a reason. So that has the same effect having a great coach or a great fucking coaching staff,
Zook
environment, and all that kind of stuff.
Have any of our high school teachers ever touched? They touched you in a specific way that's with you forever? Like no,
listen,
unfortunately,
we grew up in the East End where teachers were not teachers, man. Right, Sammy? Like I didn't learn anything from school. I'm not gonna lie. And that's it, and that's why I'm where I'm at in life. But it is what it is. We're not going to go there.
This podcast with me,
and that's why we're here. Yes, but no. But I'm sure somebody out there had a teacher that was touching psychologically.
It's okay to talk about it,
motivationally speaking, not touching physically, of course, not like in Chicago or whatever. But
Jesus,
too soon? No,
no. Chris, you wanted to say a few things.
Yeah, absolutely. That competitiveness that you said it so well, and I started laughing. You said hungry for wins versus hungry for Saint-Hubert. Like, look at Marty. You have Michel Terrien driving the
Yeah.
bus in the commercial for Saint-Hubert. You know what Marty's doing in his time off? It looks like he's in the fucking gym. He keeps himself in top
yeah.
shape.
Fucking
That's the
winner.
kind like there's another coach like that, Rob Brindamore, that comes to top
Yeah,
of mind.
100%.
It's
Absolutely. I
like,
was about to say
how
that.
can it holds the players accountable, because you say, how can
Key.
I as a
Key
player
word.
be less fit than my coach who's not even playing?
For
Like, the
sure.
coach can put on skates and take my spot like this. Like that, and then too, Sammy, you're talking about like him. He always does that. He always does that, like,
It's
hold up
amazing.
between the eyes.
I have a few screenshots saved of that.
Yeah, and you know what? That's not ridiculing his players. That's a I want to win. I know we suck this year, and I still want to win because it's in my nature to want to win. And if he can pass that on to the players, like at the end of the season, the players go, you know what, that was a shit year. We didn't really accomplish anything, but fuck, I want to win. I'm gonna go and I'm gonna work my
Mhm.
ass off in the summer. I'm gonna practice every single opportunity that I have. I'm gonna do this. If and you talked about Poulain too. You're talking about people who have won at the highest levels,
Yeah,
who
man.
have competed and been at the top of their game in comparison to the other elite players. Marty is such an important factor,
So
especially
good.
going forward. And I think he's going to help so many of these young kids flourish, because these young kids in the next 4 to, let's say, 6, 7 years are going to be the ones that are carrying
Oh,
us to the cup final. So Marty, man, like,
shivers.
what an amazing decision. What an amazing, risk that they took,
Oh
hiring a
my
guy
god.
with such little
Do you
experience.
do
Can't
you
use, my friend.
do you remember your initial reactions when
Oh man,
the news broke that Marty got hired as the head coach?
I couldn't believe it.
Yeah.
I couldn't believe it. I was expecting. I swear to God, I had even a dream of it. It's fucking realistic. I swear to God. I don't know what I smoked or drank that night, but Patrick Roy. I swear to God, I thought it was Roy. I swear to God, and I'm like,
Okay.
the city needed it. But then I was like, and then people were like Briere. I'm like, okay, Briere. I'm like, okay, let's
No,
see
it
the
wasn't.
angle
No,
here.
Briere was for GM,
Oh, it was for
not
GM. Okay,
coach.
so
Yeah,
who were the coaches? Who were the Okay, so it was Roy. There was somebody else. Fuck.
I think Roy was coach,
Yes.
not GM.
Was he not GM? That's why
No.
I thought, if I'm not, wait, I'm like, I
Kent
have to
Hughes
No,
really
was
go
already
back on
hired.
it.
you might be right.
Okay.
No, it was
But
down
that's what
to
I'm saying.
three.
Marty
No,
was so out of the blue, and that's why I'm
Well,
saying I'm not so sure that there were other candidates, because they didn't even
but
I
get
listen,
into
saw
the
Roy as a candidate,
conversation.
man.
I don't even think we heard about coaching candidates though.
So
No,
Exactly. That's
maybe
what I'm.
because
okay.
Ducharme. No, because Ducharme got. It's true. What the fuck are we talking about here? It's true. There was no candidates
Ducharme was
because
still
Ducharme.
there.
No, Ducharme got fired, and it was like right away. Marty is hired. That's why.
Yeah.
That's why there was no
Oh,
talk of
okay,
candidate.
okay. Well, still, you know
So
what?
Juan Briere were for GM. Okay, all right, continue.
Okay, it was for GM. But anyways, I would have said I saw Roy as a coach, but it is what it is. Maybe he was going to do both. That's
Yeah.
what I was saying, but it's not going to
Oh
happen.
God,
But
no, those days are
yeah,
over.
yeah. But oh, dude, Marty, man, it's like I was surprised because he was one of those group of star Quebec players that never wanted to come to Montreal. If you remember,
Wow, never.
the
Yeah, I guess
Lacal,
so. Because,
Valliers, the Brières, the Martys, and all that. They could have played in Montreal if they wanted to, but they didn't come here.
dude,
So
the
I
Montreal
would
wasn't
never
winning by the
expect
time
even
you were
the
in your prime.
Cabellet. I'm surprised we got him as a consultant to
No, I'm
That's a
not.
testament.
but
That's a
like
testament to our GMs.
there you go.
Yeah, exactly.
So man, great moves like right at it's Molson, guys. It's not anyone else. It's Molson. He
That's
started
true
this
too.
train. He started the train. I swear to
Molson
God.
woke the fuck
He
up.
may have derailed it at one point, but he put it back on track. I swear to God. Those 4 moves in a row were fantastic. I was like, okay, cool. Or 3, 4. I'd say 4.
Well,
But yeah.
well, the 4 moves were firing. The first move was firing everybody. The
Yes.
second move was hiring Jeff Gordon. The third was hiring Kent Hughes, and the fourth was hiring
There
Marty.
you go. Marty. Yeah.
I think we have suffered one loss. Let's count coaching and management staff. I think we've suffered one loss since those guys have come in, and that's Luke Richardson. And obviously, I don't feel
Yeah.
bad. I don't feel badly for him going because obviously he got a shot to be as
That's
a head
it.
coach in Chicago.
That's
But
it.
that was the only guy that was a detrimental loss. Other than that, the way they cleaned house, the way they
It was
wiped it
perfect.
clean, it's like just dropping the perfect antibiotics to wipe the shit out of the system and then putting the good
You
the
know,
good healthy things in place.
you know who else? It's all about bad timing too. But what if Kirk Mahler was the assistant coach to Marty St. Louis?
I wouldn't see it
No.
I'm not huge on Kirk Muller.
Okay. No,
I-
I'm just
because
asking.
Kirk Muller is another guy that likes like the fucking limelight, like Marty does. I don't know if I don't know if it's gonna work.
I don't know, but
I've
I think
heard
Luke
some.
That's just my opinion, of course. But like,
because
I'm just
could
saying,
you imagine this coaching staff between Mahler, St. Louis, and Luke Richardson?
that's pretty solid. Yeah.
I think that's the solid.
I don't know,
coaching
Kirk
staff.
Muller, man. Who else would I put? I would put Carbonell instead of fucking Muller.
As assistant coach, yeah, I think so. But he did that
Fucking
already.
love Carbo. Yeah, I
He
know.
kind of did
But
that already, so I don't know. He was assistant coach to Teddy in 2002. Huh? Don't forget
assistant
Guy
coach.
Carbonell. Oh yeah,
Really?
oh yeah,
Was he?
oh yeah.
Where?
And I was.
In Montreal. Where else? Where are we talking about?
Wait. Hold on
Yes,
here.
Carbonell took
was
over after Teddy
assistant.
left.
I didn't know he was an assistant, Carbo. Okay.
I didn't
cool.
know he was assistant
No,
either.
Carbonell took over after Claude Julien got fired. Yeah, the first time we had
Julien,
those.
yeah,
The first time we
Oh
had
my
those
God.
coaches.
Oh my god.
Go way back, boys. I'm
What a
telling you.
disaster.
I'm telling you.
I wasn't even 10 years old at that point in time.
Well, I was 12, so
We were 12, yeah. We were in sec 1 or 2.
telling you. I remember. I
What a
remember
mess.
that.
What a mess.
Oh no, you guys clearly said all the right things about when it comes to Marty.
Fucking legend.
But I think he admires the, dare I say this, the Boston Bruins culture, the Boston Bruins winning culture. And I don't know if has to do with I don't know if that's the era where Kent Hughes and Jeff Gordon come from.
I think so.
But if you notice, that whole Boston area mentality is something that I think Marty and even the GMs are trying to instill on this team.
That's an observation.
And let's be honest here, the Bruins, they've been one of the best teams in the past decade. Even though they only won one cup, but look, they went to the Stanley Cup Finals two other times. They never draft high, yet they've always been one of the top teams in the league.
Development.
No, I think it has to, yes, but I think it has to do
culture. Yeah, no, but that too, but
has
that
to do
develops
with
the culture.
buying into what the team is building and everyone uniting together for that fucking logo. And Marty said it.
Yeah.
Play for that logo. Yeah. Fuck playing for Connor Bedard. Play for that logo, Joey.
Did you know what? Maybe you guys did or didn't. I have seen a few excerpts from two different things. There was one, the Spitting Chicklets podcast. I want to start with that because I thought the interview with Zdeno Chara was very interesting. And this is just one particular example. You're talking about physical conditioning. Mm-hmm. Zdeno Chara was a freak of nature in terms of his size. As a hockey player, gigantic. But that guy, and trust me, as a big and not light, doing pull-ups, the best that I've ever been able to do in my life in the best shape, I was able to do about 21 pull-ups. And I'm talking chin-ups, not the pull-ups, not the hard freaking ones. Mm-hmm. Chara apparently did over 30. The guy, and this was when he was basically coming in to the team beginning of the year when they're doing their fitness testing and everything like that. Mm-hmm. Basically, guys were looking at him going I don't know if this predates, it might predate his Boston days, but it carried over into Boston. And the reason why I'm saying this is that guys are going well, yeah, this guy's not going to do anything. He ended up doing this crazy amount of pull-ups. And the reason why the story is so important is because he said 2 years, 3 years later, he was the only one. The first year, he was the only one who was doing that amount. A few years later, there were 4, 5, 6 guys that are doing that because again, it brings in a sense of accountability. It brings in a sense of competition. You want to win
that's the key word. That's the key word there. Accountability is key.
And the second one too. I hate to admit it, but what's that like? You know how there's the 24 CH? I think it's like Behind the B or something like
Yeah,
that.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Their show.
Hosted by Dennis Leary, by the way, who I love.
Yeah, yeah, but that I have to say, especially they still have it going, or it's just maybe behind the scenes videos of the Bruins this year in particular,
Hmm.
like the way that they're
You think
competing and
you
the
think
way that
they're
they're performing.
you think they're
Yeah,
having a
no,
last
but
you think they're having a Last Dance documentary being
oh,
made?
I think definitely, but more than that, you watch the interactions, just the level of respect, the level
Mhm.
of respect that Patrice Bergeron and even that
A
fucking piece of
fucking
shit
rat.
on ice,
Ah, but it's true.
great guy off ice, Brad Marchand, the respect and the camaraderie to every single member of that organization, whether it's a guy who's running to go get replacement laces for a skate,
Hmm.
it's insane. Like I hope we get there because the Montreal Canadiens organization right now and every single other team in the league, you look at that group of individuals in Boston, and I hate to say it again, fucking la creme de la creme when it comes to class, respect, accountability, and pushing one another. Holy shit.
Amongst themselves. Yeah, and I think Jim Montgomery has a big part to play in that role as well.
Yep.
So and that's why like after I think it was the pregame press conference that Marty had before the Bruins, and he like you could tell like he's like, man, I love the culture they're building. So and I truly believe that's what he wants to bring, and I think and
It's
I
not a bad
think
thing.
and it's not a bad thing at all, and I really think Kent Hughes and Jeff Gordon are in that as well. I think they're like that three-headed monster that's really trying to build that. But the key word that Chris you said a few times is just accountability. And what I think the reason why certain players are having success is because you're gonna know when you make a mistake, but damn right you're gonna know when you made a fucking good play. And that's what these guys need now, especially with this new generation of players. I honestly I'm dying to know what his very first speech was with the team when he met everybody for the first time, to the point where like when they all walked out, they're like, that had to have been the best speech I've ever heard in my life.
For sure.
And it's always something along the lines like, listen, I've been there like you have. I've been sent down to the minors. I've been given zero chance. I was told I couldn't make it. I was told this, I'm not good enough, blah, 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 blah. I've been there. I've been to exactly each and every one of you have been. But that's the tip of the iceberg as far as what we know of that speech. I would have loved to have been a fly on the wall to know what was said in that very first meeting. But I don't think I could add more to what you two have said, because it's I pray to God, man. I just pray to God that he leads us to the fucking promised land. Like, please, to the hockey gods, please.
It's gonna happen.
He told the hockey gods, please, no more blue jerseys. I'm asking the hockey gods now, please give us all the Stanley Cup. We're fucking it's been long overdue. It's long overdue, man. And if you were to tell me, Sam, you're gonna have to suffer for 4 or 5 years, and then maybe another 3, 4 after that, you're gonna have to wait and see if a cup comes. Are you willing to go down that road? I'd say yes in a fucking heartbeat, but I pray to God it's with the people that we have now in the office.
We've had this conversation. I know you guys ridicule Anthony all the time for it. I
Well,
still say
we don't need this part of the conversation to ridicule
no,
him.
I think, call me crazy. I just get a gut feel for a lot of different reasons. I'm going to go back to a player that Zook named. If we get Adam Fantilli, if Kent Hughes, number two, if Kent Hughes manages to get rid of some
You
of the
guys,
veteran contracts that are impeding, let's say, certain players from either having a particular spot on the roster, but also at the same time making room for certain players, I think those two factors, I truly, wholeheartedly believe the Montreal Canadiens will be contending within 3 to 4 years.
Oh, I think so too.
Contending.
Contending. I don't think they're gonna win. Unfortunately, if they do, you obviously
There's
all know
luck
how I'm
involved
react.
as well, right? So yeah, exactly.
There's going to be
It could be
luck and there's
lucky,
going to be
of
health.
course. Health, yeah.
But
We'll see.
Yeah.
Time will tell, my
You
friends.
know what? We're gonna end this episode, but this is gonna be a topic for another episode. Because a lot of it's gonna come down to where they see Kirby Doc playing, and he's playing like a fucking number 2 centerman. It's unreal.
Mhm.
Number 2 or number 1?
No, he's a strong number 2 in my opinion.
I think
Okay,
I think
fair.
Suzuki has a bit of an upper
I think
edge
so too.
on him. So
For now.
that's
Yeah.
it, boys.
That's a good topic, though. Yes.
Well, it'll be on the next episode. Okay, so we're gonna wrap this up. Thanks everybody for tuning in to another episode of Curfew Boys. Again, follow us on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, TikTok. Here are our episodes on Apple Podcast, Spotify. Please like and subscribe us on YouTube. You can leave us an honest rating and review. It would be greatly appreciated. To you guys, Zook and Chris, thanks for being a part of this with me tonight. To Joey, Adri, and who's the other guy? Anthony. Right. I'm kidding. Hope the boys are gonna jump on soon enough, but they are with us in spirit. So, boys, don't you forget. Also, the Canadians play the Carolina Hurricanes Thursday night, and they're gonna end the weekend off to the fucking Toronto Maple Leafs on Saturday night. And then Sunday, I think the team is having a all-star skills competition at the Bell Center amongst them. So
For the kids.
for the kids, if you're heading out there with the family, I'm sure it's going to be an awesome event. Gentlemen, until next time, bye now.
Bye now.
Bye now.